I bought my wife an Omega for our anniversary, but did I make a horrible mistake? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase. This is All Things Random, mostly watch reviews with some random stuff sprinkled in between. This is mostly an affordable watch channel, but I do love the occasional luxury watch review. Now, what we're talking about today is an anniversary gift I got for my wife. Now, she has a bit of watches in her collection. One of the things that I truly love about her that I think we are kindred spirits in is our watch collecting. I have a lot of watches. She has a lot of watches. We both together are what some in society would call broke because of it. Now, what did I get her for our anniversary? Well, I got her an Omega. But first, before I tell you the Omega I got her, let's talk about her vintage watch collection, because she does have a couple watches in her vintage watch collection, and she also does have some newer models of watches. So I'll give you an example. Some of the newer models of watches, she does have a Movado museum face two-tone gold and stainless steel. That was the first watch she ever purchased for herself. I got her a Cartier Tank Solo. She also has a Bomber Mercier. She has a couple Bomber Merciers, and she has a few other things. But in her vintage collection, because this was our first wedding anniversary, and we had an amazing wedding. I mean, we were up on a glacier. We had 2 helicopters come down. I mean, it was pretty amazing. So for our first anniversary, there's a few different things you can do when it comes to traditional gifts. The first one when it comes to traditional is paper. If you look at the modern tradition, it's a clock, but she has a lot of vintage clocks. So, what's a clock on your wrist? And that's a watch. So that's what I got her. So first, let's talk about her vintage watch collection so you understand sort of where I was when buying this watch, and then you tell me if I made the right choice. So the first watch in her vintage watch collection, well, it's this 1950s Rolex Marconi. Now, this is an 18 karat gold. It's a beautiful watch with a domed crystal, and it is a manual wind watch. Now, I did a video on this watch maybe a year ago when she first bought it, and I gave the in-depth history of the Marconi brand and how Rolex capitalized on the innovation of Marconi to place on their high-end luxury watches at the time. I will leave a card for that review right here. But that is her first vintage watch she's ever bought. Again, manual wind Rolex Marconi. Now the next one that she has is the 1989 Cartier Octagon two-tone in stainless steel and gold. Now, I've never been a fan of stainless steel and gold in a two-tone, but she absolutely loves it. Now, on our honeymoon, after this amazing wedding, we went to Italy for our honeymoon. And during our honeymoon, we went to Rome and took the fast train up to Venice. Well, while we were in Venice, we found this tiny little luxury watch shop that was a hole in the wall, one of those places you had to press a button to get into. And then I started talking to the owner's son. Now, an amazing experience. This is where we first saw the Cartier two-tone Octagon vintage that we ended up buying. And that was her second vintage watch that she ever purchased, and her second Cartier. I digress. I started talking to the shop owner's son, and we start talking watches, and you can really tell when a watch enthusiast meets another watch enthusiast, and suddenly he's opening the safe, and he brings out this 1970s Paul Newman Rolex Daytona that was in his father's collection, and I'm holding this watch worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe he let me hold this. It was an amazing experience. Absolutely, truly loved it. So, what's next? She has a Rolex vintage. She has a vintage Cartier and a newer Cartier, but a vintage Cartier, and the next thing on the list would be, of course, an everyday vintage watch that she could wear on the wrist that not only says, hey, I have class, but is also low-key. So I got her this Omega Geneve. Now, the Omega Geneve I got specifically wasn't super expensive, but I wanted to make sure I could buy the best quality I could with the best reference number. Now, specifically, this is the reference 535.0033. Now, the reason I bought that is because she is slightly older than me. I'm in my 40s. She is also in her 40s, but I wanted a reference number in the birth year in which she was born. Now, the reference number of this Omega Geneve is between 1974 and 1979. So I wanted to not only find her an anniversary gift that was amazing, because Omega's amazing, and it's a technical watch for the watch geek, unlike Rolex, which is for the fanboys. Anyway, so I wanted to get her something that was representative of our anniversary and was even more personal in her age, right? Never ask a woman's age. That being said, I was like, you know what? This is amazing. It connects the dots in multiple ways. Now, let's talk about this Omega Geneve. Now, this Omega Geneve has a caliber 635 manual wind movement, and when I actually reached out to the seller of this, they put it on time grapher. It's plus 4 seconds a day, which is amazing when it comes to this watch. It's been serviced. Again, the caliber 635. It has 17 joules, 42 hours of power reserve, and it does not have hacking. It does not have hand winding, but it does beat at 21,600 vibrations an hour. Honestly, this is a beast. And like most ladies' watches, this is slightly thin and slightly small when it comes to the classic elegance of timeless design. 26 millimeters in diameter, 9 millimeters thick. That includes that extremely domed boxed crystal, and 33 millimeters lug to lug. Now you can see here it has an oyster style bracelet that tapers down to a pressed clasp with the Omega symbol right there on the clasp. Just absolutely beautiful. Screw down case back. Never put this watch in water, and it has a silver sunburst dial, baton indices, classic styling you'd see all the way around. Now this I thought was the perfect everyday watch for a wonderful woman. Now, what do you guys think about my choice? Did I make the right choice? Should I have gone differently? Or is my logic sound? I'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments below. This is just a fun video. I love to bring my personal life to the channel. I'm a watch collector. My wife is a watch collector. This is a watch that I was excited to give her. I was ecstatic, and it's so funny because she may be a watch collector, but she's not a watch collector, if you know what I mean. And I had to talk up Omega right before I actually gave it to her, just to make sure she understood its importance in the watch industry. Anyway, I'd love to hear you guys' comments down below. If you're here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. I have a lot of videos coming out. I'm throwing these things out every few days, so do me a favor and leave a comment down in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.